At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too. Because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Should be working now. Yeah, should be working now. All right. Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there. All right, let's start all over. Good morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Krueger. Weather NorCal. You are watching Coffee with Krueger. Here it is. And you may have noticed behind me a bit of a different set. We've got a different set behind me because I didn't like the green screen behind me. I just thought it was kind of ugly. Wanted to kind of personalize it a little bit more here. There it is. Now let's see how it sounds like it's working. All right, I was wondering about that. That's why I kind of had it just to back up to kind of check to see. So it sounds like you should be able to hear me now and everything's good. 12 seconds ago it says no sound. So you should be able to hear me now. But anyways, that just broke away from me just introducing my new kind of background and set here. But wanted to personalize it, make it a little bit better. I do have some LED lights that they were working over the weekend when I was testing it. But they just stopped working. It's these cheap Chinese knockoffs that you get on Amazon, and they're just junk. So I don't know. I mean, maybe I should just maybe try to buy something a little bit different, a little better. But they don't work. I unplugged them, plugged them back in. What do you do? So hope you're having a good start to your week. It's raining a little bit on the coast. We're seeing some snow flurries in the higher elevations this morning, and we are going to be looking at a bit of an active weather pattern. I'm going to be using the phrase and the term atmospheric river. Now, I don't want you, and here's something I want to just kind of get off the bat and get off my chest here. Atmospheric river is a phrase that is a legitimate phrase used in the scientific community. In fact, in the early 90s, the term tropospheric river was coined in the early 90s. Then sometime shortly after that, it just kind of morphed into atmospheric river. Now, there are studies that go way back in the 1920s that indicate that atmospheric rivers were a thing and they were around, but the phrase, the term, didn't really come into play until the 90s. And over the years, over the last decade or so, it's become part of our vocabulary communicating the weather to you. Here's what I want to say about atmospheric rivers. It's not some kind of, at least for me, it's not some kind of agenda to push global warming on you or climate change or whatever. What it is, it's a way for me to communicate to you that the rain that we are going to see has a potential of being significant because it's a source of moisture that comes from the subtropics. And think of it like Pineapple Express. You've heard that phrase before, or Coconut Connection. It's this moisture that comes in from the south and just can really dump a lot of rain, and sometimes, depending if the conditions are right, can dump a lot of snow in the higher elevations. And that's kind of what we're expecting this week. Now, one of the things I mentioned yesterday during my Facebook post is that there are different levels of atmospheric rivers. And in fact, I think I had a map made of it a little bit earlier before we get into that. I'm going to see if I can find it. But those atmospheric rivers have different categories, weak to, extreme. We're going to be in that moderate to strong. So again, I think there is that potential for us to see some significant rain out of this. And darn it, if I didn't put it in there, no, that's not going to be it. Let me go into here. Let me try one last check here. I don't see it. Oh, there it is. No, that's not it either. Darn it. I had a really cool, I'll have to see if I can pull it out here later today and of course show it to you again tomorrow, because it's not going to take effect until Tuesday anyways, so I'll have to remind myself to do that. But so atmospheric river, I just don't want you to think that I'm saying, oh my gosh, it's going to be Armageddon, because the problem is it's a phrase that has been confiscated by the media companies, and they love to use that, just like bomb cyclone and all those things, right? So again, I don't want you to think that I'm overhyping this storm, but I also don't want to underhype it, because it is going to have an impact. We are talking about the potential for things. In fact, let's get into the forecast here and talk about what's going on here. So Bradshaw said, yeah, most of us are used to the term atmospheric river. It's really descriptive of that weather condition. Yeah, you're right, but there are many other people who don't, and they see it as just an excuse for organizations to hype it. But we'll get into that a little bit later. All right, so here's a look at Krueger's Quickcast. But before we get into the Quickcast, here's what I'm tracking, all right, for this week. So with this atmospheric, the atmospheric river is the source of moisture, essentially, all right? So that's what's going to give us what we need to kind of help squeeze out that rain. So we've got the flood potential along with the potential for mudslides and debris flows. Now, the snow levels are going to start off fairly low. In fact, today and the next couple of days, they're going to be between 2,500 and 3,500 feet. So that's impacting some of those lower mountain communities. And it's going to be borderline places like Hayfork, Weaverville. You're getting in there as well, possibly. Maybe not a ton of snow, but maybe some light accumulating snow. Bernie, Mount Shasta, right? Some of those areas, Shingletown, Upper Shingletown, Alturas, Susanville, all of those. So we're going to be looking at also gusty winds. They'll be picking up through the day tomorrow and tomorrow night into Wednesday, and cold overnight lows and morning lows as well, especially tonight into tomorrow. Not as bad once the winds pick up, but it's still going to be cold nonetheless. All right, so there's a look at the radar right now, and you can see the bulk of the activity is in the northwest part of the state. In fact, most of it is on in the north coast. You can also see some lightning strikes in there. We could see some thunderstorms this morning and this afternoon, especially off to the west. This is all pushing eastward, so you can see how weak it is. So it won't have a huge impact on the valley, but Redding, Red Bluff, you know, not out of the question for you to maybe see a stray shower. So here's what we have for our temperatures right now. Yeah, it just depends on where you are, right? 34 degrees for Redding, 43 in Corning, 36 in Willows. You got Alturas at about 19 degrees, low to mid-40s right now along the coast. When you take a look at those visibilities, they're actually not that bad out there right now. Let's take a look at the camera out at Elk Country, and looks pretty good out there. I'm going to see if we can pull up the Crescent City camera. And okay, yeah, gorgeous. But we do have the clouds, right? We got the clouds out there. Those clouds are also, of course, producing some of the showers that we are seeing in Delnor County. You can see the wet pavement there. And they'll be looking at more wet weather here throughout the morning as well. All right, let's kind of get you ready back to the weather computers here. I got to take you to the Elk Country cam here real quickly before that. So again, the visibility is actually looking pretty good. There's going to be some patchy fog out there, I think, in some areas here, but really not reducing that visibility too bad. Now this morning, especially if you're driving a big rig, do note that there are chain requirements out there on Highway 299 East, basically on the west side of Alturas. Oh shoot, that one also, I thought that wasn't supposed to happen. Give me a second. Aha! Let's try that again. So there it is, taking a look at the chain requirements. So, and of course, Cedar Pass, Highway 395, there are some chain requirements there. Looks like conditions have improved elsewhere, but there you can see out in the northern Sierra, south of Portola, there are some chain requirements there as well. That's what it looks like on Hatchet Mountain. Looks pretty good. You can see State Route 299 and the intersection of 89 looks pretty good, but there is a look at Cedar Pass. That's why there are chain requirements there. We take a look right now at Highway 3689. Looks a little kind of icy out there. You may need to be careful. Ice accumulating on the lens there for down your summit, so you can't really see the conditions out there, but you can tell it's cold, that's for sure. There's State Route 70 and 89, and that's on 2,800 feet. Looks pretty good there. Looks pretty good there at Spring Garden, just east of Quincy. As a matter of fact, and just for fun, we'll take a look at I-5, Dunsmuir, also near Mount Shasta City, and there's Snowman Summit. Looks pretty good there now, but I tell you what, Snowman Summit, even I-5 near Mount Shasta City, that's going to be a bit of a different story here this week later on. Let's take a look at the forecast road conditions, and you can see as we go through the morning and afternoon, conditions may improve off to the east, but Scott Mountain, I think you may see some more snow. Highway 97, northeast of I-5, may see some more snow. Take you out to Cedar Pass again this afternoon and evening. Looks like more snow there. And then going into tomorrow morning, still some snow over some of those higher mountain passes. So just be aware of that if you are traveling in the higher elevations, especially east of I-5 or on Scott Mountain. This morning out the door, a few snow flurries, possible rain showers and snow flurries for parts of Trinity County. Could see some lightning strikes along the north coast. Otherwise, some scattered showers there. And for Siskiyou County, scattered showers, maybe some snow flurries down to as low as 2,500 to 3,000 feet, but mainly dry for Modoc County this morning, as well as the Eastern Mountains, but that may change later this afternoon. There you can see the satellite image here. The speckled clouds indicating the colder air that's moving in. That's the cold and unstable air for today, but nothing major as far as rain and snow is concerned. Let's zoom it in here a bit tighter, taking a look at Futurecast. There's the noon hour, and yeah, around midday, early afternoon, places like Redding, eventually maybe Red Bluff, Corning could see a stray shower early this afternoon. For today, I've got snow levels on average between 2,500 and 3,500 feet. At those elevations, when you see a snow level, typically those elevations, you're not going to see a ton of snow. You start getting above that, and that's where you start seeing most of the snow. And then going to 5 p.m. this afternoon, you can still see some snow flurries out there. Once again, with those snow levels 2,500 to 3,500 feet. And we have got dry conditions in the valley. For tonight, looks like things are kind of tapering off, but that things will start to switch over through the day on Tuesday. We'll get into that in the deeper dive here in just a bit. There is a freeze warning for tonight through 10 a.m. It's going to be cold. I don't think it's cold this morning. Whew, man, it's going to be probably even some upper 20s for some of the valley locations here. So, just want to make sure that the pets have a place to sleep that's warm, and of course, make sure people. You got to think of the people as well. Pets, pipes, plants. Maybe you start thinking about wrapping up those pipes for the season. Make sure you don't get a hard freeze and get those broken pipes. Temperatures mid-50s for today. It's going to be on the cool side. Again, maybe a stray shower for Redding down to Corning this afternoon, but otherwise dry. And then a chance for showers, maybe some snow flurries in the higher elevations pretty much throughout the day. Better chances this afternoon east of the valley. We're going to take a look at the 7-day forecast much more detail, but you can see just how active it is, right? We've got rain, we've got wind, we've got snow in the higher elevations. Cool temperatures, only reaching the 40s and 50s for the valley. For the coast, rain, wind, but not necessarily snow. Maybe some thunderstorms this morning and afternoon. That's also the case inland. Rain, wind, and snow out in Trinity County here for pretty much the next 7 days, although snow levels will increase a bit. Again, you can see how low they are, between 2,500 and 3,500 feet for Tuesday, early today, through Thursday. They'll start to rise on Thursday, rise even more Friday and Saturday, and then drop again, looks like on Sunday. All right, that's a quick look at your forecast. Have a nice day if that's all you need for the day, but stick around because we're going to have a lot more detail coming up a little bit later. Let's start off by taking a look at some of those cameras out there. Taking a look at Lake Oroville, North Forebay. Gorgeous. Look at that sunrise. It's clear skies this morning out in the valley. But that's going to be changing, folks. We've got Highway 99 at Neil Row. Looks like traffic is flowing smoothly there. A lot of traffic just kind of waiting at that light. Highway 44 at Sundial Bridge Drive. Not a whole lot of traffic out there this morning either. Hey, by the way, we've got our Turtle Bay Wonderful World of Animals. I had a chance to hang out with an opossum, Gucci, a part of their animal experience program. Let's get into that here and take a look at this week's Turtle Bay Wonderful World of Animals. Hello everyone, Mike Krueger, Weather NorCal. You're watching another episode of Turtle Bay Wonderful World of Animals. I've got Sharon Clay from Turtle Bay. I love how that just rolls off the tongue. Sharon Clay from Turtle Bay. We got Gucci with us here, and there's another cool. So last time we talked about the behind the scenes. You've got several different animals that you do that with, including Gucci.
That's right.
Yes.
And one of the things that's great about Gucci's behind the scenes is that it is any age, because she's so little and she's so, she's gentle, she's small, she's less intimidating for little ones. Timber the beaver is the most amazing behind the scenes, but he weighs 50 pounds. So I can't have little kids because he will try to jump in their lap. So you want to get a behind the scenes with her. Now, adults are welcome to get a behind the scenes with her. She's pretty awesome. And if you are an awesome opossum lover, this is the behind the scenes for you as well. But it's also one that the littles can be a part of. So that's great. So, and we also had the porcupine.
That's right. That you're for the first time ever.
That's right.
So, but that's for adults.
Well, right now he's still small enough that we could do we could do kids too. Once he gets to be his full size, it'll probably not work for littles. So,
but we're not talking about porcupines. We're talking about opossums.
Opossums.
So Gucci here. What would be so fun? What would be really fun about just kind of hanging out with Gucci?
Well, you tell me. Here, you ready? Okay, this is what's fun about hanging out with. Yeah, that reaction right there.
I mean, because Gucci's been on your lap and then got on my lap, and it's so much more fun. Here we go. Now, Gucci can't see that. Well, there. Oh, good job.
So opossums don't have very good eyesight. They have an incredible sense of smell, and they have great hearing. And you can tell by the ears and the nose. If you just take any animal and look at their largest features, you'll know what their greatest sense is. So big old ears and a big old nose, and those are teeny. The eyes are a little cross-eyed and bizarre. Very poor eyesight. So you get to feed her, hang out with her, learn all about how awesome opossums are, and all of the money does go right back into helping the animals at Turtle Bay and all the ambassadors here. She was a rescue. Gucci mom was killed. There was babies in the pouch. Most of them were not alive. 3 of them survived. And then those 3 that survived, 2 of them ended up being releasable, which was great. But Gucci here was the runt of the litter, and she was sick. And so she couldn't go back out. So she came to us. She was very, very teeny at the time. And now she's 2.5 years old.
She's great. And she's just great. And how long do opossums usually live?
Oh, that's not a good question.
I know.
That's the bad question. So opossum,
only a few years, right?
Yeah. So 3 to 4 in human care is the max you're going to get. In the wild, they only live about 2 years.
I'm very optimistic that you're going to live a long and healthy life.
Yes,
that's my goal and my goal. Because, I'm a big part of that.
That's right, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, behind the scenes, it's a perfect gift for anybody who loves animals, doesn't need more things. You can get them for holiday gifts right now. You can get them for Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, a great date thing to come do with your loved ones, too. Birthday gifts. So you can buy them. You don't have to pick the date if you're doing it as a gift, and then the person who gets the gift can
that sounds perfect. And all you have to do is go to turtlebay.org and then go to
Animals and Behind the Scenes.
Animals and Behind the Scenes. Of course, we'll show that to you on the screen there. It'll be easier for you to find it. So, check that out. Should be fun. The holidays are just, I hate that phrase, right around the corner, but I just said it. They're right around the corner, so something to think about if you're thinking for something unique for your loved one. So thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Gucci. And we will see you next time for Turtle Bay, Wonderful World of Animals. I want to thank Sharon Clay for that. And of course, if you are interested in checking out that experience or want to get the gift for somebody, go to turtlebay.org. And then up at the menu items here, you go to Animals. Hover over that, and then another menu will come down. You see where it says Behind the Scenes Encounters. So you can learn more about that. You can even watch their little video they have on it. And then you can put your name and everything, and they'll contact you, and you can set everything up for the time that you want, which animal you want, the works. So be sure to check that out. It really is fun. I've had an opportunity to really have that experience with a lot of the other animals, including Gucci and Bristle the porcupine. I mean, how cool is that to have a porcupine sitting in your lap? The beaver, right? So it really is neat. It's a unique gift, especially we're kind of getting into the holidays. If you're thinking about the kind of unique gift for someone, I think that is a good one for everyone. So there you go. All right, so let's get to the forecast here and start talking about it again. Now, one of the things that I was noticing, someone had mentioned here, first of all, we got Helen Brunson. Let's see if we can get that up here. There it is, yeah. Things kind of changed. Saying, good morning, we are getting some rumbly thunder in Klamath. I'm seeing the phrase bomb cyclone throw around on my feed regarding this week's weather. Okay, so Helen, let's talk about that too. So you're hearing atmospheric river, which people tend to over-dramatize, bomb cyclone. over dramatize. Here's the thing. I was just looking at the forecast models, and that really wasn't on my radar. So bomb cyclone is when you have an area of low pressure. The lower the pressure gets, the more intense that storm system is. So if you have that area of low pressure drop significantly in pressure in a matter of 24 hours, typically 24 millibars in 24 hours, that's the technical phrase, but basically if you see an area of low pressure drop significantly. So we have that bomb cyclone characteristic with this storm system, but keep in mind that the center of that low is way up to our north. So the impacts won't be as great for us here in Northern California as it will be for our neighbors to the north, and especially in Washington and Canada, for example. And we'll take a look at that when we're looking at our deeper dive forecast, getting into that here. We've got good chilly morning, Mike. Chili sounds good. Yeah, sure. I like myself a good bowl of chili. Do you like it with meat? Do you like it with just beans? What's your catch? We got Patty saying, Mike Krueger, Weather NorCal. I have to go to Round Mountain on Wednesday. How does that look? You might be dealing with snow. We got some low snow levels. We'll take a look at Futurecast. Stick around and you'll kind of see what kind of rain and snow, and of course your timeline too, because it's going to be kind of a Tuesday night into Wednesday that we start to see that heavier rain and snow kind of begin to kick in. And that snow level is going to be fairly low. It's going to produce a lot of snow in some of those lower elevations that typically don't see a lot of snow or haven't seen a lot of snow up until this point. So it's kind of interesting. But good question. That's what we do here, right? That's what's beautiful about this is you can interact, you can ask your questions. And I'm sure as we go through the week, there are going to be a lot more questions kind of popping up here. So obviously a lot to talk about. Let's get you to it with all that to talk about. And we're going to get you, first of all, talking about our sponsor, Wind River Resort and Casino. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. Once again, I want to thank Wind River for their support of Weather NorCal and Coffee with Krueger. Without them, this wouldn't be possible now, would it? All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on with the weather now. All right, so here we go. We've got some showers, some snow flurries off to our north and west right now. Look at that, lightning strikes. That's the confirmation from our friend out in Climate saying, hearing some rumbles of thunder. Well, there it is. There are the lightning strikes that you're seeing this morning. So the chances for thunderstorms are certainly happening this morning, especially in Del Norte County. But elsewhere, we're really not very active. It's fairly quiet this morning. We've got clear skies in the valley right now. There you can see your temperatures right now, pretty cold. 34 for Redding, as well as Willows, 38 in Oroville. These temperatures are going to be a lot colder tomorrow morning. We've got 19 degrees for your temperature right now in Alturas, 28 degrees for Susanville, and those low to mid 40s for the coast. All right, so here's your weather headlines. Active weather pattern this week. Cold overnight and morning temperatures. The source of rain and snow is coming from an atmospheric river. We're going to talk about that in a little bit more detail here in just a bit. And snow levels kind of staying down, they're going up and then back down again. And we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail here coming up a little bit later. So lots to talk about. Rain, wind, snow, the works, right? Possible for some flooding out there. So you can see the colder air, the speckled clouds, that's the colder and unsettled air that's in place right now. Storm system off to the west and what we got our eyes on. So let's walk you through the timing. Here's what I'm doing with the snow. I'm going to keep it generally between 2,500 and 3,500 feet. We all know that snow levels don't just stay static throughout the day and several days. They kind of fluctuate a bit over time. So just to kind of give you a generalized idea, as low as 2,500 feet, but in some cases it may only be about 3,500 feet. And that's the beauty of all these microclimates. And I say beauty because it's fun, you know, for all of you, but for me, it's a big challenge because you're trying to figure out where all those snow levels are, and they're different for all the different regions. Sometimes they're typically lower in Trinity County and Siskiyou County. They tend to be a little bit higher for the Southern Cascades and Northern Sierra. And of course, obviously the valley is a different story too, but we don't have any snow in the valley with this one. All right, so here we go, 10 o'clock this morning. There you can see that snow band. We're seeing some heavier rainfall and maybe some more lightning strikes. So we are seeing a nice little boundary kind of pushing on through. As that pushes through, it will weaken, but we could see some stray showers for parts of the valley, maybe some thunderstorms out near Bernie, for example, some snow flurries in the higher elevations. And, you know, the thing is, we've got those chain requirements out there, and those chain requirements could probably last through the afternoon because you're going to continue to see that chance for snow this afternoon off into Modoc County. Let's take you into tonight and then, of course, tomorrow morning. 8 a.m. on Tuesday, not a whole lot, but you're beginning to see the first signs of that atmospheric river beginning to kind of push closer to us. So here we are, 8 a.m. tomorrow, and you can see some of the snow that we're seeing here for some of the higher elevations, some showers along the coast, and nothing significant, dry in the valley. Here's the noon hour. Still dry for the valley, still mainly dry to the east. Some snow flurries off into Modoc County and Siskiyou County. There's that atmospheric river right there. Let's push you into Tuesday afternoon. We're beginning to see some light showers for the valley, light snow flurries in the higher elevations, nothing significant at this point, but we're beginning to see some of that heavier rainfall making its way. So think of this. Atmospheric river is a source of moisture. It's not necessarily a storm per se. The storm itself is helping to transport that moisture up northward, that atmospheric river. But you've got the moisture. You've got to somehow squeeze out that moisture. Typically, with our atmospheric rivers, typically that moisture is squeezed out by what's known as orographic lifting. You may have heard that phrase before. Here's the mountain range, right? So what happens is it hits that mountain range, and that mountain range causes the air to rise. That's enough to squeeze out that moisture, and you start dumping all that rain. Now, of course, we see that, and we tend to get shadowed because we're on the east side, because as you go on the leeward side of the mountain, so they go up, rain, right? Rain falling, and then you go on the leeward side, now the air is sinking, and that's where we are. The air is sinking at this point, and you tend to see less rain. Now, if the storm is really strong, then you're still going to see a lot of rainfall in the valley, but again, you'll tend to see more to the west, a little less to the off to the east, more kind of in this area here, and then less as you start heading off to the east. We'll get into that, but just wanted to kind of give you another quick idea what that moisture source is. 11 p.m. Tuesday, there it is. Look at all of that rain. Steady, heavy rainfall falling for Del Norte, Humboldt County. We're beginning to see more of that heavier rainfall for especially the north end of the valley. Snow is beginning to get heavier in the mountains between 2,500, 3,500 feet. I think we're going to have some issues on I-5 north of Lakehead Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Possible chain requirements. Be aware of that. Okay, there's Redding, there's Bernie. All right, so you're seeing the heavier rainfall. Looks like Bernie may see some snow by 11 p.m. on Tuesday. Let's take you to Wednesday morning, 5 a.m. Now here's what's happening. Here's the back edge. We talk about this thin column or this river, right? A thin river of moisture. The back edge of that moisture is right here. So we're not seeing as much rain as a result because it's kind of continuing to push to the south and east. So 5 a.m. Wednesday morning, we're not seeing a lot of activity from the north coast, western Siskiyou, but we're seeing plenty of activity here, right in the mountains Wednesday morning. Heavy rainfall, especially in the north end of the valley, even Chico getting in on it. Remember I was talking about that rain shadow? Going up the mountains, heavy rainfall, down the mountains, rainfall not as heavy. Back up the mountains, heavier rainfall, and then of course it pushes eastward with that snow over the higher elevations. Again, another little lesson there, right? Here's noon on Wednesday. We're seeing that back edge of that moisture push down to the south and east. More snow, more heavy rainfall for parts of the valley. And by the way, there could be an isolated thunderstorm in there, but notice noon, we're not seeing as much rain for the coast. Now watch that. Do you see that? Did you see that? So it was moving southward. In the last few frames as we go into Wednesday afternoon, it's starting to do this. It's starting to move back to the north and west. Now I'm going to explain a little bit later because it's going to be easier to explain that. But interesting to see that, oh, it's pushing down to the south. We're going to be fine by Wednesday night. No, this is going to be moving back to the north and west Wednesday night into Thursday. And everyone who's been seeing that rain will see more of it, and then we'll be looking at more rain making its way back to the north coast by Thursday and into Friday. We'll get into that a little bit later. Let's talk about the rainfall totals through Wednesday, just based off of our short-term forecast model here. There you can see, I mean, we're talking upwards of 1 inch to close to 2 inches in the valley. Look at that in Chico, maybe 3 inches. This is just through Wednesday, folks. This is not including what we're going to see on Thursday, Friday, and even through the weekend, although not as much over the weekend. There you can see that heavier rainfall along the coast, right? Not as much off to the north and east. So with all of that said, let's talk about the winter weather. Winter storm watch for tomorrow through Wednesday for the areas in blue. Winter storm warning actually until 10 o'clock tonight. We're going to see all of this change throughout the day today. I tell you what, my phone has been lighting up with watches and warnings all over the place. I've got everything set for all Northern California regions. It was just out of control. I mean, it took me probably a half an hour just to update all the watches and warnings maps because I had so many things to cover. So let's get into the forecast snow totals. I'm not a big fan of how the forecast models around here predict the amount of snow in the mountain. It has a hard time with it. So sometimes it can overdo it. But here we are through Tuesday. Could Mount Shasta see some accumulating snow? I think so. I was talking about here as we go into Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, we're going to be looking at some problems on I-5, and I think we will. Let's take you into Wednesday. It really lights up as we go. Remember, we saw that atmospheric river is just aimed, and so now we're seeing that heavy snow in the higher elevations. You see how it's not as much, though, for El Turris in that shadowed area. Of course, we're not seeing snow here, so we're not going to see that. But Lakehead, Mount Shasta, okay. I mean, what are we talking here? 4 feet of snow close to it? No. But I think we could definitely see a decent amount of snow even for Mount Shasta City. We'll see. We'll get a closer look at that. And, even Weaverville, Hayfork could possibly get that low to maybe see some light snow accumulation as well. It's going to put a big smile on, I think, a lot of people's faces, especially if you're a big ski or snowboarding fan. Look at the ski park. And I tell you what, do I have it up right? No, I don't. Ski park already has the snow that we saw last week, okay? It wasn't a ton, but I think it was like, I don't know, 6, 8 inches or so. This right here, it's going off the scale. You're getting into 18 inches plus, so several feet of snow is a very good possibility. Now, I'm not the one who makes decisions out at the ski park, but could it be an early season? Could it be as early as Thanksgiving? I don't know. Hard to say. But we are definitely going to be looking at a lot of snow on the ski park. I think that's going to make a lot of people happy. There's another quick look at the chain requirements. There you can see Cedar Pass Highway 395, also just to the north of Aden, between Aden and El Turris. There are chain requirements there as well. Here, look at the roads. Hatchet Mountain. This is known as the Four Corners. Highway 289 intersection looks good there. But yeah, Cedar Pass, you've definitely got some ice and snow on the roadway there. This is actually at Chester, near Chester. You see some, looks like a little icy there. Can't really see anything from down your summit because you've got all the snow and ice that kind of froze on the lens there. There's a look at Highway 70 and 89. Looks okay there. Looks okay on Spring Garden just east of Quincy at about 3,800 feet. And for fun, we'll take a look at I-5. There's Dunsmuir. There's Mount Shasta. Roads are wet, but not icy or snowy. And this looks good for now. So I tell you what, we take a look at this. We even take a look at this. This may all be covered in snow as we go into tomorrow night and into Wednesday. Things could get quite interesting around here. So yeah, a lot to talk about, a lot to focus on. There you can see Scott Mountain. Looks like some snow up there. Cedar Pass. We should see conditions improve a little bit, especially off to the east, because you're not going to see much activity this morning. But by this afternoon, by this evening, you're seeing more snow. So that means a lot of those higher mountain passes will once again probably see more chain requirements, mainly east of I-5. And of course, you'll be dealing with that snow on top of Scott Mountain at about 5,400 feet. The wind gusts right now, a little gusty off to the west, but overall, not a main concern here when we're talking about the winds here. That's for today and really even for the first half of the day on Tuesday. So there's today. I mean, yeah, 10 to 15 miles per hour, a little breezy for some of us. But look at this. By tomorrow morning, those winds really beginning to ramp up, even out towards central Siskiyou County. But elsewhere, not so bad. El Turris maybe a little breezy. Let's take you into the afternoon, and now those winds are really picking up. Look at that. Gusts 40, 50, even close to 60 miles per hour. And then, of course, we've got some strong gusts in the valley. Those winds picking up even more for Tuesday night into Wednesday. We're seeing gusts 30, even 40 miles per hour. So right now, there are no wind advisories for the valley or high wind warnings. And oh man, wouldn't you know, I didn't put the wind watches and warnings in there. But do know that there's a high wind warning for tomorrow for the coast. There's also wind advisories off to the north and northeast. But there you can see, there's that next storm system. That's what's coming in from the west. We saw the timing of all that through Wednesday. There's the atmospheric river pointed at us again. So we'll talk about that, what I was talking about, how it retreats back up north. So you can see Friday, still that atmospheric river over us. Then that pushes to the south. But now we're dealing with some scattered showers Saturday, Sunday, even into Monday, not associated with the atmospheric river, just some classic showers that are kind of rotating around an area of low pressure that are going to bring us more scattered showers out there. So let's take a look at the forecast rainfall totals now through the end of the weekend. Ooh, look at that. You know, these long range forecast models, they tend to overdo it sometimes. Sometimes they underplay, right? So are we going to see over 9 inches of rain in Redding? Probably not. But there is a flood watch. As you can see here for Del Norte, Humboldt, and even southern Trinity County for Tuesday night through Thursday night, potential for mudslides, debris flows, rises in the creeks and streams, localized flooding. And it's not just that area that we have that concern. It's other areas as well. So here's a look at the moisture content. This is where we have a nice stream of moisture. See the yellows and oranges and reds? That's where you have the high humidity levels, the moist air. So this right here is known as an atmospheric river. It's a thin column of moisture that is aimed right at Northern California, all right? So what's kind of driving where this is pointed is the area of low pressure to our north. What's going to happen is, as we go through Tuesday night into Wednesday, you see this area of low pressure right here. See how it's diving to the south right here? What's happening is, as this kind of pushes southward, it's going to push. And we saw that in Futurecast, how the atmospheric river was kind of pushing southward, but then started coming back. And here's the reason why. As this area of low pressure digs deeper to the south, what it does, as this goes down, it causes the atmospheric river to start pointing back. So as we were going into Wednesday, the atmospheric river was right about here. But as this dive pushes down, it causes this to push back up to the north. And that's why we're going to see the return of more of that wet weather for Thursday and Friday for the North Coast. But then going into the weekend, that atmospheric river pushes to the south. It's no longer our concern. A little bit of a concern for Southern California, but it's not necessarily as strong at that point. The atmospheric rivers, it's a fairly new phrase, but it's typically known as a Pineapple Express, Coconut Connection. That's essentially what it is. And then, of course, again, as I mentioned, that's all shifting down to the south by the weekend. Hey, take a look at the temperature trend here. Temperature is only getting in the low to mid 50s here for Redding. It's going to be quite chilly here for the next 10 days. Now, the wave heights, they're starting to retreat a little bit as we go into tomorrow morning, but then just tomorrow afternoon, they'll pick right back up. We'll probably start seeing some gale warnings out there. So the marine forecast, winds from the west at 5 to 10 knots, waves from the northwest at 14 feet at 13 seconds. There's your high and your low tide. There's that small correct advisory here for today. All right, there's that freeze warning again here for the valley surrounding foothills. 10 o'clock tonight through 10 a.m. Temperatures generally in the low to mid 30s. It could get locally colder than that, maybe some upper 20s for some of the colder spots, especially those really wind sheltered areas. So looking at Trinity County, look at the snow levels, 2,500 feet. They start to rise on Thursday, climb even more Friday, Saturday up to about 5,000 feet, then 2,500 feet on Sunday. So they're going to stay pretty level, start to climb back up toward the end of the week. By the second half of the weekend, they go back down again. And that's the case for all of the mountains. You'll see that trend. Temperatures about 39 degrees for Wildwood, 39 for Mad River, 45 degrees for High and Palm. For southern Humboldt County, with your North Coast neighborhood forecast, Not everyone will see lightning strikes. It's just a chance for thunderstorms here. And I think the better chances will be to the north in Del Norte County, as we're already seeing that this morning. Ferndale about 54 degrees. Windy conditions, rain throughout the week. 50 degrees out in Blue Lake, 54 degrees for Trinidad. There you can see out in Hoopa about 48, in Willow Creek about 49 degrees. Take you up to the north, 41 degrees for Gas Key, 50 for Smith River, 48 degrees for Orleans, and there you can see out towards Siskiyou County, temperatures are going to be in the mid to upper 40s. 2,500 feet through Wednesday, 3,500 feet Thursday, 5,000 feet plus Friday, Saturday, back down to 2,500 feet on Sunday. Scott Valley, 41 is the magic number for Fort Jones, all the way down to Callahan. Of course, you got those winds coming out of the north at about 3 miles per hour. 35 degrees for a high today in McDowell, Mount Shasta City about 40, and there's a look at Tule Lake at about 36 degrees. Let's take you out to Modoc County, where we've got snow levels around 3,000 feet through Wednesday, up to about 5,000 feet plus by Friday, Saturday, and back down to 3,000 feet on Sunday. Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast. Here we've got about 43 for Montgomery Creek. Now Bernie could see some snow today, tomorrow, possibly some heavy snow on Wednesday. Thursday back up to 4,000 feet, 5,000 feet plus Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday about 3,000 feet possibly again. So could see some more snow in Bernie by Sunday. Take a look at Lake Almanor and Lassen Park. Ooh, man, it's cold, especially out at the park. But even Chester, you're down to 12 degrees tonight and tomorrow morning. Otherwise in the 20s for those overnight lows and in the 40s for most of those daytime highs. Take you down to the south, Paradise, 48 degrees, 35 for Mineral today, Susanville, 42. Dry for the first half of the day for the eastern mountains, but by the afternoon, just a few stray snow flurries and showers. Here's your Valley Neighborhood forecast brought to you by Walgamuth Painting. Your temperatures will be in the mid to maybe some upper 50s for some of the warmer spots. Mainly dry in Chico. You're dry today. Showers late in the day Tuesday. Windy and rainy on Wednesday, more rain for Thursday, Friday, and then maybe some scattered showers. No more atmospheric river moisture for the weekend. 54 degrees for Redding, 49 degrees for Whiskeytown, 55 degrees for Cottonwood. Isolated showers, possibly maybe even an isolated thunderstorm here for this afternoon. Otherwise, late in the day Tuesday, another chance for showers. Heavier rainfall coming in Tuesday night. Wednesday, more rain. Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, just some scattered showers. All right, let's take a look at that. Nope, we didn't want to look. Well, the drought monitor, you can see there, dry, but we don't have to really worry about being dry because we got some heavy rainfall heading our way. Let's take a look at that 7-day outlook for Redding. And there you can see, of course, the rain, showers late in the day. You've got temperatures back in the mid-50s. I mean, really, look at Wednesday. It is cold. Only a high of about 48 degrees for that daytime high. So, yeah, I mean, it's cold. Definitely getting cold out there, folks. That colder air has moved on in. All right, well, that is going to do it for us today. Let's kind of check in with some of you this morning and see how everybody's doing, see if there's any questions here. Let's see here. There was the good morning, Burr. It's a chilly morning. Let's see here. When is the snow supposed to start? That's the question that we've got from Tim here this morning. He's asking, when is the snow supposed to start? Now, based on my forecast that we were just that I was just kind of going into some great detail, we are seeing snow flurries today, but the heavier snow is expected to start sometime Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. This is what I was talking about on I-5 for Wednesday morning. If you have a commute up to I-5, they say to Mount Shasta City, be prepared for the potential for chain requirements, closures. It's going to be, it could get pretty heavy when we're talking snow during that time frame, especially as we go into Tuesday night and into Wednesday morning. And even Wednesday afternoon, there could be looking at the potential, that was not the right, that's when he's saying, when is this supposed to start? That was the one I was going to be showing you here, but there you go. Snow for Lakehead. Well, that's what Kathy's asking. Depends on what elevation. I know Lakehead has several different elevations, but down to about 2,000, 2,500 feet. It's not out of the question for Lakehead to maybe see some snow. And there you go. Sounds good. Beautiful. Looks good. Well, folks, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Glad you could join us and get the latest forecast. We're going to leave you with a couple of cameras here coming in from Lake Oroville. Keep it tuned right here to Weather NorCal throughout the day today and really throughout the week. I'm going to be really updating information, following this storm very closely, let you know what we can expect here as we go through the next few days. Gave you an idea today. We'll give you more ideas and more details as we kind of get into the next couple of days and as we really kind of get into the heart of that heavy rainfall and snow. And again, I mean, Wednesday morning, I mean, you're talking the potential for some problems. Travel, I-5, Highway 299 West, I mean, Buckhorn Summit, Oregon Mountain, places like that could be running into some problems as well. So there you go. All right, we're going to leave you to some of these cameras. Until then, have yourselves a great day, and we will see you bright and early tomorrow morning on Coffee with Krueger. Wait, I didn't advance it. I thought I advanced the... There you go. There's a look at the cameras. Have yourselves a great day, and we will see you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. on Coffee with Krueger. Until then, have a great day.